Welcome to the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. My name is Tanner Kern, certified G bonafide stud, and you can't teach that. In this right here, this is G Money Grant Mitchell. His Commanders are trash, and you can't teach that. Bada boom, man, the people in the room. G Money Grant Mitchell, how you doing?
See, Tanner, we're so bad that I now have the luxury of officially calling this a cursed season. So any of your jokes, anything you want to say? No, we're not bad. We're just cursed.
I'm not even trying to make fun of you. Like, genuinely, I'm not, because like it's not like you kind of lost a close game and you could be good. It's not like you're a Cowboys fan. Like, the Cowboys turned the ball over a bunch of times. The Cardinals deserved to win last night, but the Cowboys kind of gave them the game a little bit when you watch it play out. With the Commanders, like, there's just nothing good to talk about. So I'm not like trying to bust on you here. I'm just saying, like, they're not a good football team. It's crazy how bad they actually are. And they were one win away from going to the Super Bowl last year. And now they can't even get a stop on defense.
Yeah. So as bad as this franchise has been, so 3 weeks ago, we lost to the Cowboys by 22. 2 weeks ago, we lost to the Chiefs by 21. Last week, lose to the Seahawks by 24. That hasn't happened to us since 2001. Think about how bad we've been for the past couple of decades. It's the first time something like that has happened. So, yes, you are right. We suck. We are awful, but we are also cursed. So let me just pull up the depth chart super quick. I know most people here aren't Commanders fans. They don't care, but I'm going to run you through this. Jaden Daniels, fractured elbow. Austin Eckler, torn Achilles. Noah Brown, IR. Terry McLaurin, who knows, probably IR. Luke McCaffrey, broken collarbone. Dorrance Armstrong, torn ACL. Javonte Jean-Baptiste, torn pec. Eddie Goldman, concussion. Dietrich Wise, torn quad. Frankie Louvu now suspended for too many hip drop tackles. Trey Amos, hip. Quan Martin, hamstring. Marshawn Lattimore, torn ACL. Will Harris, broken leg. It's genuinely insane. It's like someone cursed everybody on this team.
I think you guys need to call it a season. I think you need to give up, because it's not worth running Marcus Mariota out there. It's just not worth it.
I mean, we can't forfeit the rest of the season.
I think you guys should forfeit this week, because you have an angry Detroit Lions team coming to town. I was shocked to see that the Lions are only an 8.5 point favorite over the Commies. It should be like 15.5 this week.
It opened at 9 too. It dropped to 8.5.
Well, I guess you can make the case on one side. We're going to talk about our favorite picks. This will be one of my favorite picks. You can make the case that the Commanders are going to come out and play better because they got embarrassed. And you can make the same case for the Lions, like which team wants it more. But when it comes down to talent, it's not even a comparison right now, especially with Marcus Mariota coming out.
Yeah, this season really has just put into perspective that last year Jaden Daniels was just working miracles. And this year he's not. And you're seeing how bad the team actually is.
Yeah, it's amazing. The first drive of that game, too, just to recap shortly here, I was looking at Jane Daniels, and I'm like, he's going to have that night. He's going to have to scramble and pick up every first down on third down, just because he doesn't have any blocking. Nobody's getting open. And just rough night for the Commanders, rough night for Jaden Daniels. I hope he's able to stay healthy over the course of his career, because I'm starting to question if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, it's weird too, because it's not like the RG3 comparisons. He hasn't had some major injury. He has to do a better job protecting himself, definitely. But also, like, he's just getting hit on plays where people aren't blocking or receivers aren't separating, so he's being forced to scramble. So I think everybody needs to pitch in. I don't think this is he's just too skinny. I think there's just a lot that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, definitely. Who needs to do a better job protecting themselves too? Just speaking of quarterbacks, Jackson Dart. He is insane. He needs to stop.
Cam Scadaboo, same beast, different animal.
But Cam Scadaboo, he's, he got a few brain cells not there. Like, he's banging his head against the wall before games at Arizona State. I don't know if Jackson Dart did that. You can't play in the NFL like you did in college. And he's taking hits with the game literally over just to run into people. Like, you can't do that. So that's pretty dumb on his part. Drake May, same thing. He needs to learn how to protect himself a little better. He's getting there. But these young quarterbacks, man, I don't know. They like running into people.
Well, you know what's funny? When I watch college, it always seems like the college quarterbacks are more durable than now they're not being hit by as big of guys. So I'm sure that plays into it. But definitely just watching college football games, they're a lot more willing to take those shots. And I think they just carry that mindset into the NFL.
And it's championed in college. It's like, look at him laying it on the line for his team in the NFL. It's like, how dumb can you be at the quarterback? But like if Jackson Dart ran over somebody into the end zone, I specifically USF a few weeks ago when they were actually the beginning of the season against Boise State, the USF quarterback decided to instead just run to the end zone. He took a different path and wanted to run over a safety. And the announcer's like, look at him getting his team fired up. Like if that was the NFL, I'd be like, that was the dumbest decision a quarterback could possibly make in their life. So it's crazy the difference between the NFL and college. And, we talked about it too. The SEC, the big boys, like the best conference in America, is not even a hair on the NFL's ass, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah, whenever I saw another one of these lines, what would the hypothetical line be between, I think it was the Jets and Ohio State? It's like the Jets would be favored by 31 points.
At least.
Minimum. Because as great as Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs is, right? Like, okay, Ohio State's got 53 people on the roster. They've got more than that, obviously, but 50 dress or so on a game day. 15, 20 of them are going to the NFL.
Maybe
everybody on the worst team in the NFL made the NFL. They would kill them.
Oh, it's men versus boys. I mean, you look at Justin Fields, who was good at Ohio State. You would think he would be good playing against them if he was able to do it now, right?
He should be better now than he was in college, even if he looks like he sucks now.
Yeah, I mean, he would be pretty good, I think, if he played against Ohio State. If you stuck him in college right now, he'd be really good. That's just Justin Fields. That's these quarterbacks. They're good in college, and then they can't turn around in the NFL. So, yeah, the combination of coaching too, like it's a different game. So the people that do say there's colleges that could compete with NFL teams, you're dumb. I'm sorry.
If we were to take the 01 Miami, maybe more recently, just because it's still fresher in our minds. If we were to take 2019 LSU, put them up against the Jets, the Titans, same thing. They're 30-point underdogs.
Well, let's see. How many LSU players from 2019 made it to the NFL?
So they had Burrow, they had Chase, they had Jefferson, they had Stingley.
30 players from the 2019 team were drafted. They had 14 players selected in the 2020 NFL draft. So 14 like that. And this is the greatest team ever. And they would still lose by it would be carnage. It would literally be carnage. Like Justin Jefferson is going to go make plays down the field, but it would be carnage. Yeah, you look at this, you look at how games go now for rookie quarterbacks coming up. Why do so many rookie quarterbacks not have good careers or good starts? Because it's just a different game. So if you took all rookies basically, and you took some 19-year-olds and put them up against grown men, they would be killed.
Yeah, so looking at this 2019 LSU roster, you're right. They had 30 players make the NFL, but some of those guys were like Stevens, Sullivan, Racy McMath, players like that. And then also the offensive and defensive line is where it would really go wrong. You're looking at their linemen who made the NFL, Anthony Bradford and Austin DeCoulis are the only offensive linemen on that LSU team that made the NFL. And then on the D line, Braden Fajoko, our guy, shout out, Rashard Lawrence, and that's it for the trenches. So, yeah, they have Burrow and Chase and Jefferson. Burrow wouldn't even get to throw the ball.
No. I mean, it would be worse than it is now for him.
Yeah, true. Hey, okay, question. Before we get into this, and promise to everybody watching this video, we're about to share our favorite betting picks, NFL Week 10. Just give us 2 seconds here. Do you look at Burrow differently now that Joe Flacco is averaging 400 yards and 4 touchdowns?
No. I mean, I still look at Joe Burrow as Joe Burrow, but it's if you have any ounce of defense on that team, it seems like any quarterback could be good. Joe Flacco can still sling it though. And we've seen that when you have a guy like Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, you just have to throw the ball to them. I still think Joe Burrow is legitimate. If you put Joe Burrow on a team without those two and he had a good offensive line and you stuck him with the Patriots wide receivers, I still think he would be pretty good. It's Joe Burrow, and he's beaten Patrick Mahomes. That's the biggest thing. He's gotten over the hump that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson cannot get over.
Do you think if Burrow was on the Patriots, he's looked at as a universal top 4 quarterback?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. 100. Don't you?
I would have to think about it more. It was just an interesting question. I think I still would.
Drake May is a universal top 5 quarterback right now.
This season, for sure. Still got a long way to prove, though. We said that about Jaden Daniels last year, and look where we're at this year.
But I look at Drake May versus Jaden Daniels and just like the body type and the physicality, and I'm going to say Drake May is going to have a longer, better career than Jaden Daniels.
I don't know if better. I think longer. Certainly, what we've seen this season. Sure, not going to argue that.
Drake May's an MVP. Grant. Drake May could win MVP.
He could. He could for sure.
He should. He deserves it. That's
he also their schedule luck is insane with how their schedule's crazy soft.
Yeah, I mean, but they're beating everybody.
Yeah, they're smoking teams. I'm not saying Drake hasn't played well. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying he hasn't really faced many tough challenges.
Oh yeah, for sure. And this week again, they have the Buccaneers. So this is the test. If the Patriots go to Tampa and beat the Bucs, you're going to start talking about the Patriots, start talking about the Patriots a little differently here. So we'll find out. We'll find out, Grant. But we got a lot of betting picks to deliver to the people. Why don't you tell the people though about WSN.com before we get into that?
100%, guys. Myself, Tanner, a team of experts. We're over there at WSN.com. I know we're in the TikTok era, and we love being on camera talking to you guys. But also, if you're a little old school, want to sit down and read some picks, like I said, Tanner, myself, the team, we're putting out written content with our favorite betting picks every single day. That is the NFL. That is the NBA. World Series just ended, but we've got NHL. Basically, anything you're looking for, you will find it there at WSN.com. On top of, this is a big one, promo codes for all of the sports books. That's $1,500 in bonuses at BetMGM. That's Bet5 to win $200 in bonuses guaranteed at Bet365. We got deals with Kalshi, the prediction platforms, anything you're looking for. Again, it's over there at WSN.com. So make sure you do go check it out.
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the podcast as well, because we're pumping out betting picks, predictions all the time on here. We're on here Tuesday and Friday for our main podcast, also putting clips out throughout the week. So make sure you guys subscribe so you get notified whenever we go live with a video. And Grant, why don't you lead us into Thursday Night Football here?
So we got the Las Vegas Broncos here, and Tanner and I are here to bring a very special prize picks segment for this game. Now, you can take these picks, obviously, you can roll them over to the sports books. The lines might be slightly differing. Now, instead of 200 yards, you might get it for 198 here, but these are still going to be our top player prop betting picks for this Thursday Night Football matchup. And we're also going to talk about the major markets as well, the spreads, the money lines, all of that great stuff. So, Tanner, Broncos riding a 6-game winning streak. Raiders have 2 wins all season. Is there any reason to believe an upset is on the board here?
I think because it's a divisional game, that's the only reason to say that there is a close game coming. I wouldn't say an upset. I mean, 9.5 points is a lot. The Broncos are better, but the Broncos are surviving too. You look at how they played last week against the Texans. It took another fourth quarter comeback to get the job done there. If CJ Stroud doesn't get hurt in that game, we could be looking at a different result down the stretch. So just a spot where I think the Broncos find ways to win, and I credit them for doing that, but I don't think they're the best football team in the world by any means. They got a good defense. They got a quarterback that's going to compete. He hasn't been great this season. But yeah, I think it could be close. The spread's really confusing to me because the Raiders are not very good. You have a quarterback that turns it over all the time. They got beaten in really tough fashion on Sunday. So how many times can you keep coming back from losses like that, get up in a division game on the road? It's going to be hard for them. I wouldn't want to lay 9.5 points. I'd probably take 9.5 over laying it. With that being said, though, it's a no play, and I'll stick to my prize pick segment.
So I am going to be betting on the Raiders at plus 9.5. I might buy the 10.5. Might wait to see if the line moves. Live betting opportunities, just those little ways that you can try to be a smarter, more effective bettor. But I do like the Raiders side of this, and I want to go to what you said. So the Broncos are a very good team. I want to make that clear, even though I'm not laying the points with them. The thing that's most impressive to me is the way they play complementary football, because Bo Nix has escaped a lot of the sophomore slump conversations because his team has been winning games. And what I give him and the team is the defense has carried this team. They might have the best defense in football, but then in a lot of these games, Bo Nix might be terrible for 3 quarters. They get to the fourth quarter or they get to a late drive, and he has made the winning plays. So I've got to give that to him. I've got to give that to the coaching staff. Putting him in the right position, the defense as well, having the offense in position to, hey, don't worry about it. We got you back for the first 45 minutes. You get us for the last 15, and we can win this game. So they are a very good team. I would echo some of what you said. They have been skating by to a certain extent. In week one, I get it's week one, but it's a 1-score win over the Titans. They do blow out the Bengals, but then they have this furious comeback on the road against the Eagles, which is obviously a great win, but still coming from behind. You barely get past the Jets in a game in which Justin Fields has 45 yards. You score 33 points in the fourth quarter. Up until that game, like 1,600 teams who had been in that position had lost that game. You do blow out the Cowboys, although that looks less and less like an impressive win. And then against the Texans, Nix was terrible to start that game. He was 0 of 7 with an interception. And then defense does its thing, and he finally converts a little bit late in the fourth quarter. So on one hand, if Bo Nix does play better, this can be a dominant team. They're winning. They're not dominant right now. But then on the other, if the defense doesn't play at that league best standard, they could have lost a lot of games that they actually won this up to this point.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And you look at the Colts loss. I mean, this could be the only one-loss team in the AFC right now if you take that one away. So
True.
This is a team that's very competitive defensively, as you were saying. And Bo Nix has been a league average quarterback. He's like 17th in QBR. He throws touchdowns. He throws some picks, but he gets the job done for the most part. And I agree, he's escaped that sophomore slump because of the defense. But he's also just been a league average quarterback. And if you're a league average quarterback and you win football games, or your team's a little over 500, you're probably going to escape a lot of that criticism here. I have my concerns that the Raiders can stay in the game with just how the entire season has gone for them. There's no consistency on either side of the ball. Geno Smith is like a turnover machine going against a really good Broncos defense. I said it last week with Miami. I thought Miami was going to be able to stay in the game a little bit against the Ravens, and that, looking back on it, that was dumb. But, they didn't protect the football. They didn't do the things that winning teams do. And if they would have just done those things, don't turn the ball over inside your own 10-yard line when you have a lead. Don't throw a Hail Mary with a 5'0" receiver against a 6' safety. Like, just don't do that stuff on fourth down. And you're probably going to don't miss a 19-yard field goal. That's the stuff that these teams like the Raiders tend to do. And it causes them to not cover spreads, which are more than capable. They're more than capable of covering if they just don't do the make stupid mistakes.
Yeah, one big reason that you could be looking at the Raiders here, and this is going to roll over into my first pick from the prize picks menu. Brock Bowers had a very, very strong impact return to the lineup. 12 catches, forget the exact number, but 120-something yards, 3 touchdowns. And Geno Smith in this game against the Jags defense that had been good. Yeah, I know that they'd regressed a little bit lately, but they had been good. He goes for 4 touchdowns, has another interception because he can't seem to go one game without an interception. But you did see Geno come to life, and it was directly linked to Brock Bowers. And the Broncos, like I said, the Broncos might have the best defense in the NFL, although they did suffer a major injury last weekend. Nobody can guard Bowers. He's one of those guys. Doesn't matter if you were, I don't know how this would happen, but if you were playing the Vikings and you had Justin Jefferson on your team, it doesn't matter. Justin Jefferson's going to get open. Jamar Chase is going to get open. Brock Bowers is going to get open. So I do think that nobody can stop him. So we saw him almost single-handedly drag his team to a win last week as a tight end. That's remarkable. And I think he can certainly go on the road and play another good game here.
Yeah, I would like Brock Bowers over 58.5 receiving yards here. I think it's a good spot for him. I think he catches a touchdown. He kind of has to. Like, the script says they have to throw the ball to compete in this game. So I will lean into what you were saying here, and I'll agree with you there. But I like Geno Smith over 211.5 passing yards. When you look at just Geno Smith, or more than 211.5, we're talking prize picks here, but if you want to bring it over to a sports book, you go over. I look at Geno Smith, and he's boomer bust, right? 284 against the Jaguars, 67 against the Chiefs, 174 against the Titans, 228 against the Colts, 117 against the Bears. Like, it's 362 against the Pats to open the season. Like, it's like good game, bad game, good game, bad game. So he is coming off a good throwing game. That would mean he tends to revert back to a bad one based on this, because it would be like more, less, more, less, more, less, less, more. So pretty much fall on that trajectory. I think he's going to stack some good games here just because they're going to have to throw the ball. They know that. And he has, when he's on, I mean, he can throw for a lot of yards. So I will trust that the Broncos are going to score a little bit. Both teams are going to have to score, and Geno Smith's going to have to throw the ball.
Yeah, so I'm actually also, I was making the Brock Bowers point, but I'm also with you on the Geno. The Geno line is my favorite. They're over 211.5 or more than 211.5, just like you alluded to. I just think they have to throw it. And Ashton Jeanty is as great of a talent as he is, as great of a prospect he is. He's just not being put in positions to succeed. Either it's the offense, they're not scheming it in a good way. The offensive line isn't blocking. The receivers also aren't helping to block. Maybe that gets easier with Bowers there, attracting attention from the defense. But then again, he only had like 42 rushing yards last week. So I think any sort of offensive progress does have to come on the back of Geno Smith there. I am also going to flip it over to the Broncos here. And I'm going to go with a guy who I called out on the show, I think 2 weeks ago, and he had a pretty great game. Matter of fact, what did he do in this game? I think I just closed my tab, of course. Mr. Troy Franklin is the guy that I'm talking about. Called his name 2 weeks ago. When I did, he had 6 catches for 89 yards and 2 touchdowns. I took his overs in that game, and I'm going to take him over again. It's another low line. He is only at 39.5 for more or less. Obviously, we're taking more here. And what I really like about him is you look at his target share recently. 3 weeks ago, he has 10 targets against the Giants. 2 weeks ago, it's 8 targets against the Cowboys. Last week, it's 10 targets against the Texans. Courtland Sutton is the number one receiver, but Troy Franklin is getting looks. He is on the field, and Bo Nix is throwing the ball in his direction. Now, Nix hasn't been very accurate. Again, the season has been great overall, but this Raiders defense is very friendly to opposing quarterbacks. And 40 yards for receiver is like 3 receptions, maybe 4 receptions, and he can do that.
Yeah, I'm aligned with you there, Grant. I do think that's a good play. I'm going to take it back, though, to the Raiders here, going back to Ashton Jeanty. Remember when we were talking about Ashton Jeanty, if he was going to make it in the NFL? So far, the Boise State narrative is not true. He cannot run over anybody without blocking. So I think that Ashton Jeanty's best way of getting involved in this game is through the air, and we're getting a really good line on his receiving yards at 14.5. So I will take more on prize picks, or you can take higher or over on any sports book you're taking. But Ashton Jeanty, when it looks to look at the receiving yards, when Geno Smith is having a good game, Ashton Jeanty's typically going over this line. Coming off 5 for 47 last week against the Jaguars. That was pretty much his biggest game of the season. He had 5 for 42 against the Colts earlier in the year as well. Let's see here. Yeah, he's really starting to come alive. 47, 13, 11, 42, 17. Early in the season wasn't getting any catches really. So I think they know that they have to start getting the ball to him through the air to make him effective, whether that's in the screen game, whether it's just getting the ball to him quickly just to see if he can make some plays. That's the best way to open up his legs and get his explosiveness involved there, because they can't do it through the run game. So I'll take the over on the receiving yards. I think this line's going to continue to tick up as he gets more catches.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. You got to get him involved somehow. He is still a great talent. He just hasn't been able to do it running the ball. So it makes sense that they would get him the ball this way. I'll actually finish it off here. I'll go to my third pick. I'll take the over on the other running back, the more on the other running back, J.K. Dobbins. I'll go over 69.5. He's also been up and down. So he goes under last week with 61. Then it's 111 before that, 81 before that, 40. 79. Actually, it's not as erratic of a pattern. It would be under, over, over, under, over, 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 over. So pretty consistent going up. The Raiders defense, I understand I think they're 11th or 12th in yards allowed per rush attempt. They're allowing just 4 yards per carry, but the way their offense is, it's not like they're consistently running up the score. So I don't think Bo Nix will be pressured to throw the ball a ton. Also, from kind of going back to what I was saying about the Broncos doing a good job of playing complementary football, the coaching staff has insulated Bo Nix to a certain extent. They give him a lot of very quick passes, short stuff, but there's a lot of running. They don't want to put a bunch of pressure on him. The Raiders don't have this overwhelming defense that's going to force turnovers, and they don't have a punishing offense either. So I think Dobbins is going to get a minimum of 15 carries in this game, maybe up to 20. And that's enough volume to get over this sort of line.
Yeah, I like that as well. I think the Broncos don't necessarily have to come to this game and say we're going to throw all over the Raiders. Like they can pretty much do whatever they want to. The Raiders got to respond to that. So I would agree there with the J.K. Dobbins more than rushing yards. So if we're going to put this in a slip here, Grant, we're going to do a 5 pick.
Okay.
Right here. All right. So on Prize Picks, if you put all these in a slip here and you do a power play, $20 would pay 400. That means you have to get 5 out of 5. If you do a flex play, so that means first place or 5 correct picks pay 10x, so 20 pays 200, 4 pays 2x, 3 pays 0.4x. So you lose a little money there if that's the case. But yeah, so $20, 200. I kind of like it.
So we got the Geno more than 211.5. We got the JK more than 69.5. The Troy Franklin more than 39.5. The Brock Bowers more than 50. What was it?
58.5.
And then what was the last? What's our number? That's 4.
Jeanty receiving.
Jeanty receiving. Okay. That's the slip.
All right. 20 to pay 200. We're going for a power play. 5 out of 5.
We're liking the overs, so we need some offense.
Yeah, I mean it's bound to be over for the Raiders unless they just get 3 and out every single time, like the Commanders did last week, pretty much.
Thank you.
But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. So, Grant, it's time to move into the best part of the show, in my opinion. That's where we give out our 5 best spreads for the week.
If you guys want to win some picks, then let's do it right here. Tanner and I are about to share our top 5 NFL spread bets on Sunday, Week 10. Big week. I've been giving you the update throughout the entire season, Tanner, and I get that it comes off like I'm bragging, but I'm just saying it to the audience here. This is why you got to subscribe to Ride the Line if you have not already. We are now in week 10. I still have only had one losing week picking every single game on the schedule. So I get it. We condense it down to the top 5 on this show, but I am as confident as I think I've ever been in my gambling career.
All right, well, let me get it started then because you're so hot. We gotta let you cool off a little bit here. We're going to start with the biggest game of the week. That is the New England Patriots against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I guess Monday Night Football, you can make an argument for the Eagles and the Packers, but the biggest game of the week in my mind is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the New England Patriots. I
think it's Browns versus Jets. I think that's the biggest game.
Well, I'm going to talk about that one too. That's an interesting game. Okay. But we got the Bucs and the Patriots here. I love the Bucs in the spot. Patriots have not been tested. Baker coming off a bye week. We see how much the rest advantage matters. The Cardinals had it against the Cowboys. They come out, win that football game. The Baker Mayfield Bucs have been scheming up for this football game for 2 weeks now. You're also getting much healthier. You got Bucky Irving returning to the lineup. You still have a legitimate receiving crew. Without Mike Evans, it just doesn't matter. You still have guys that can go down and catch the football. Still have one of the best receiving crews in the NFL overall, I would say, even without Mike Evans in the lineup. Defensively, this is a team that gets after the quarterback. They're going to pressure Drake May like he hasn't been pressured before. They're going to give up plays down the field. Don't get me wrong. They're going to give up their fair share of yards, but they are going to be relentless rushing the passer here. And I think this is a spot where the Patriot Drake May show kind of comes to an end for a little bit, and then they're going to get back on track. But when you're looking at the schedule the entire year, this was one that you marked as an L, and they haven't played anyone close to this level yet. The Falcons gave them a tough game at home last week. The Bucs would blow the Falcons off the field. So I will take the Buccaneers to cover 2.5.
So I'm sorry, I was listening to what you're saying. I'm just trying to count really quick because I got to do this the old-fashioned way. Give me like 5 seconds here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So teams with a rest advantage this season, very quick count here, but it looks like teams with a rest advantage are 27-20 against the spread this season. Teams coming off of a bye week are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9-5. Coming off of a bye week against the spread. So definitely an advantage on that front. This is on my card. This is one of my top 5 picks of the Sunday week 10. I do have the Buccaneers minus 2.5 as well. Like you said, the rest, the bye week, it does play it's a very influential part of just picking as a bettor. It's something that's easy to overlook. We don't like looking at teams flying across the country. We don't like looking at teams coming off a bye week. We don't like looking at underdogs in international games, but these things all matter, and this is a big part of it. Like you said, the Patriots really have not been tested much this season, and that's no fault of their own. They did get a really good win against the Bills. They have blown out the bad teams they've seen. It's just they're not used to playing this level of competition, and they only barely got past the Falcons last week because of a missed extra point. The Buccaneers getting healthy. Like you said, they're actually under siege a little bit by the Panthers. The Panthers are making a run at the NFC South. So this is a big opportunity for the Bucs. Baker Mayfield reestablishes himself in the MVP race by taking down maybe the leading MVP candidate right now. So yeah, I'm all over the Bucs in this one.
This feels like the game where Drake May is going to look bad in. It feels like the game where the Patriots are going to go on the road and, everyone's confident in Drake May and they're going to get it done. And then they're just going to get exposed. And we're going to be like, okay, the Patriots haven't played that hard of a schedule. This feels like that narrative of a game. And, Baker's taking his licks in the NFL. Obviously Drake's got to take his, but Baker's going to deliver a lick right here in this one. He's going to get
and also the Patriots, they look really good. And when a team looks good, it's easy to just assume they're going to continue to look good, right? They've won 6 in a row. Everybody slips up at some point. It's coming for the Patriots. For the Patriots.
It's going to be hot down there in Tampa. It's going to be a hot one.
Matt Collins, do you see his Halloween costume?
He dresses up too much considering he doesn't catch any footballs. For the amount of Stephon Diggs should be rolling in. Did you see Cardi B with Robert Kraft?
Yes, I did. She was doing the celebration.
Yeah. Also, too, what game was it? Going back to your Commanders, Grant, I'm sorry about this. Why was Jaden Daniels aura farming down 28-7 when he scored that touchdown? Did you see that?
When he was celebrating?
Yeah, that's like the aura farming thing.
Yeah,
they all do that celebration now, but I wouldn't do it when I'm down. The Patriots.
He has a history of celebrating when we're getting blown out. Okay, I will say that.
I just didn't know that. When you did this, that came to my mind. But yeah, Cardi B was on the field taking pictures with Stephon Diggs after. This Patriots team seems to like each other. Everyone seems to get along. Everyone's getting fed the football. Pop Douglas, his uncle was just killed the night before. He had a big game. He was emotional after it. Like everyone seems to mesh on this team. They pick each other up. Like I knew Drake was probably getting the ball to Pop Douglas in that situation. Like the offensive line's playing for each other. I was at the Celtics last night and Will Campbell and Drake May were there and the place went nuts. Like Boston is rocking for football again, which is awesome to see. With that being said, the Buccaneers just ruined their dreams on Sunday.
Okay. I'm on board with it. So you're back up. What's you got for number 2?
So number 2, we'll just figure we'll get it out of the way here. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns plus 1.5 against the New York Jets. There might be 7 points scored in this game. And I can't really judge what the Jets did last week. Like the Jets crawled 2 weeks ago, whatever. They crawled back into a game because of a situation where the Bengals can't play defense. We've seen that time and time again. The Browns can play defense. Justin Fields is not a good quarterback, and if he's going against a good defense, chances are he will not be successful. So it's going to be really hard for them, I think, to score points this week. On the flip side, Dylan Gabriel, I've seen him play a little bit this year, watch him play against the Patriots. He was okay at times. He can't do a ton by any means. Like he's not a great quarterback, but he's good enough to just get the ball in space and put his guys in positions to be successful. So I think if they're able to run the ball a little bit, they play good defense, they're a better team than the Jets overall. And they are also a better coach team than the Jets, which means a lot in this spot too.
Yeah, I did not expect us to have our first 2 picks be the exact same, but I am also on the Browns at plus 1.5 against the Jets here for a lot of the reasons you laid out. These defenses, these are both, they're both 1-win teams. Is that right? Did the Browns win 2 games? I don't know. They both suck, but the Browns defense is actually good. If the Browns had a league average offense, then we would be looking at the Browns as probably a 500 football team, maybe even better because their defense is that good. The Jets don't have that. They've also got all these conversations about, they could be blowing it up at the deadline. So we're just waiting to see if that happens. Obviously, this video is going to be out once the deadline has passed. But point being, the Browns just have more going for them. Justin Fields is more likely to turn the ball over than Dylan Gabriel is. So, yeah, I'm on this pick as well.
Is this one of your picks on the 5?
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Why don't we alternate then? Why don't you lead us off for the next one? So we might have the same whole card today. Who knows?
Okay. So what do I go with here? I'll take the Jacksonville Jaguars. Well, no, I'll take their game against the Houston Texans, but I'm going to take the Texans at minus 1.5. Now I got to say this is contingent upon CJ Stroud being actually available for this game. If it's Davis Mills, I'm going to stay off of it. I think this line indicates Stroud is playing. That's where I'll go with this. I don't think the Texans would be favored if it was Davis Mills here. But when I look at this Jaguars team, yes, Travis Hunter, obviously he's injured, but you've got the names like Brian Thomas Jr., you've got ETN, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter. But it was their defense that carried them to start the season. through like 6 weeks of football, they were number 2 in the NFL in EPA allowed per play. Now they're the 3rd worst team in the NFL in that category over the last month of football. So they've gone from having arguably statistically the best defense in the NFL to one of the bottom 3 defenses. And with their offense continuing to underperform the way that it has, BTJ was banged up. Travis Hunter is not going to be able to play. He's on IR. Trevor Lawrence is just not getting the job done. Texans have an elite defense. They have for 3 years now. Everybody knows that. There have been inconsistencies from Stroud, obviously, but Trevor Lawrence has got those same inconsistencies. The Texans have a better defense, and I trust CJ Stroud more than I trust Trevor Lawrence. So I do think with them being at home in a divisional matchup, knowing that they're not going to win the division because the Colts are kind of running away with it. But this is a chance, if they can rip off a little winning streak, they could climb into the wild card picture. So I'm all over the Texans.
Yeah, it's a no play for me. I think whether CJ Stroud's on the field or not, the Texans are trash. I think the Jaguars are bad. I don't trust either quarterback here. I don't trust either team. The only thing I do trust, I guess, is the Texans defense. But even that, when they need to get a stop last week, they couldn't do it. So tough game to pick, Grant. I'm not touching this one at all.
That's understandable, but I would just say, looking at last week, you said they couldn't get a stop. They had been getting stops the entire game. They gave up 18 points. They gave up 15 the week before that. They did give up 27 the week before that to the Seahawks. Then it was 10 against the Ravens, and I get it. Cooper Rush was there. 0 against the Titans, 17 to the Jags, 20 to the Bucks, 14 to the Rams. They've been very stingy all year.
You ever heard of a gotta have it stop though, Grant?
Again, Trevor Lawrence, I just don't trust him to get the play. It's also a gotta have it for the offense, and I don't trust Trevor Lawrence to do that.
There's something called a gotta have it stop, and when they gotta have it, they couldn't get it done. That was the problem last week. So I'm going to stay off it. I'm not a fan of betting on the Texans. I'm not a fan of betting on the Jaguars. They're kind of like two just teams that nobody cares about in my mind. Like that's what the AFC South is. It's a collection of teams that nobody cares about. So I'm going to stay off both of those teams pretty much.
I do feel like the AFC South is the most irrelevant division in football.
Yeah. Oh, by far. We can. I don't want to rank them real quick, but it's just looking through them. I would say, like, out of popularity of divisions, I think AFC North, and not this year, but like in general, like AFC North, NFC North, I think are the two, like, up in the north. Yeah, we run the ball up in the north and play in the cold, even though half the teams have domes. So at least in the NFC North. The AFC North is actually way tougher than the NFC North. So yeah, I would say those two. Then I would go like NFC East. Probably one of the best. AFC East, NFC East. Would you agree?
AFC West with the Chiefs, especially.
But like that's just because the Chiefs are there. Like I don't look at anyone else in the AFC West as legitimate because the Chiefs have just run the division for years.
The Broncos have a good fan base.
Yeah, they do, but like it's the Chiefs.
It is the Chiefs. Yeah,
the Chiefs like that. They make it more relevant. So I'll knock them down a little bit. Then like NFC West. Yeah, NFC West, AFC West, kind of on that same level, and then the South, NFC South relevant because the Bucks, like that's second to last, and then the AFC South is just bleh. Colts, Jaguars, Texans, Titans. That's the most disgusting group of teams you could possibly come up with.
Well, so the Texans are a recent expansion team, the Jags are a recent expansion team, Titans relocated, and then it's the Colts. Colts relocated a while ago, but.
Like, I don't think anyone cares about winning the AFC South.
Yeah, it's kind of the participation trophy of the NFL.
Yeah, and like in the NFC South, like if anyone but the Bucks wins that division, like if the Panthers or Falcons came back and won, I'd be like, you know what? That's a quality football team beating the Bucks. But other than that, in the AFC South, it's like they just give out the championship trophy down there.
All right, so I give my third. You're on your third now. What you got?
So. We both came on the podcast last week and we were saying if there's one like line that we love, it would be like the Detroit Lions -8.5 against the Minnesota Vikings. Remember that? We were talking about that.
I remember that.
I had that in every single parlay and it got nuked by, and my biggest issue too, everyone's like, oh, JJ, the kid's such a fighter. This kid's such a dog. JJ McCarthy, I got to pull up the stat line. I gotta pull up the stat line here, and I am betting on the Vikings this week. So just a little tidbit there. I'm taking the Vikings, but JJ McCarthy was 14-25, 143, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He rushed 9 times, 12 yards, 1 touchdown. Like Tom Brady is blowing JJ McCarthy the whole game. It's like everything he does, he's been so good. And like it's Kevin Burkhardt, we got a lot of positives to take away from JJ McCarthy. I didn't think JJ McCarthy was very good. If you watch that game, the only reason the Lions were dominated is because they couldn't block. And Jared Goff had no time to throw. And when he has no time to throw, he looks like a JV quarterback. And that's what we saw. It had nothing to do with JJ McCarthy, even though he made some throws when he needed to. But if the Lions would have just taken care of business on offense, the game would have been over. So I'm going to take the Vikings here against the Baltimore Ravens. My reasoning is the fact that the Baltimore Ravens defense is not very good. It's not. And there were multiple opportunities for the Miami Dolphins to take advantage of the Baltimore Ravens defensive flaws last week. Lamar Jackson is back. But from what I hear, the Vikings have this stellar defense, even though they couldn't do it in LA when they got blown out in prime time. They come back last week, have a really good game. If they can keep that going from a defensive standpoint, I don't think Lamar is going to have that good of a game here. If they can get a pass rush like that on him, it's going to be a long day for Lamar Jackson. And especially if they keep their rush lane integrity. So I'll take the Vikings plus 4.5. I don't love it. But I think it's a spot worth testing considering they're at home and the defense is coming off one of the most dominant performances I've ever seen out of a defense.
So it's funny you brought up your JJ McCarthy soliloquy there because I texted one of my group chats and I threw Bo Nix in here. Bo Nix has proven a lot more than JJ has, but I said, you really got to give credit to JJ McCarthy and Bo Nix because they can play like dog crap for the entire game. And then if they convert 1 third down after their defense has given up 7 points for an entire game, everybody's going to say, wow, did you see that throw? They make the winning plays when they need to. And that's how I feel about JJ. That's how Jim Harbaugh felt about him at Michigan. They refused to let him throw the football. Defense would give up 10 points a game. They would just run it 80% of the time. And then JJ would convert 1 third down in the fourth quarter. And they're like, see, that's why he's a winner. And that's how he got drafted. That's what the scouts were saying during the whole thing. They're like, oh, he might not go out there and throw for 400 yards, but he's going to convert that third down at the end of the game. It's just about standards. We hold different players to such different standards. So I'm with you on JJ. Yes, he has made some plays here and there, but they are very few and far in between. And for that reason, Tanner, I'm on the Ravens -4. That's one of my picks this week. I definitely trust the Vikings defense more than I do the Ravens defense, no doubt about it. But going back to our rest advantage conversation, Ravens do have 10 days of rest coming off of a bye week before that. So there's a lot of time for them to try to figure out what's going wrong on defense, get the solutions implemented. Also, if you're telling me JJ McCarthy, and I love Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson, obviously everyone else on that offense. But if you're telling me a JJ McCarthy-led offense is in charge of matching plays created by Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, I have to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand it. I'm going to count on the Vikings having the same defensive performance that they had last week, or similar to that, a spot where they can confuse Lamar Jackson a little bit. They're at home here. They got some momentum coming back. I hate to do it, but like you said, JJ McCarthy's a winner. Like the kid's a dog. Like I will give him that. He's kind of like a worse version of Baker Mayfield.
It's not a terrible comparison.
Baker can go win a game for you. I don't think JJ's ever going to be the quarterback that said, hey, you go take the game over. Maybe he will when he gets to that point in his career. I don't know. But the look on his face, like when he won that first game and like Fox was showing him in the locker room. I watched that clip back yesterday and he's like,
yeah,
he's like, it's the I can't even do the kid's a sicko, but he's not very good at football. So I would say that he's a winner. And I hope he can make the game-winning play, and I hope that their defense can hold for this week, for the sake of this week.
Okay, so I mean I've already given 4 now, so you're back up. You're on number 4.
This is my 4th, right?
Yep.
All right, so I am going to go with the Seattle Seahawks -6.5 against the Arizona Cardinals here. I love this play. I absolutely love this play. I look at what the Cardinals did last night. Again, we talk rest advantage, rest disadvantage. The Cardinals were coming off the bye week, show up, beat up the Cowboys a little bit. They also forced a lot of turnovers against the Cowboys. I mean, the Cowboys were fumbling. Dak's throwing interceptions, or Dak had the interception. It wasn't necessarily a game where the Dallas Cowboys could not have been in it if they just didn't turn the ball over. They only lost by 10. They lost the turnover battle drastically. So I think the Cardinals are a better team without Kyler Murray. And Kyler Murray is probably going to be playing quarterback next week for him. So that's my biggest concern with this game. And I look at what the Seattle Seahawks have been able to do just this season overall. Sam Darnold looks awesome. I don't know why more people aren't talking about the Seahawks in terms of the NFC Championship conversation, because they're dominant on defense. They go on the road. They always find ways to win. I know they're at home here, but it's a tough crowd for the Cardinals to walk into. Jackson Smith and Jigba looks fantastic. They're able to run the ball. They're physical. And defensively, they give up nothing easy. And maybe I'm just skewed because they were playing against the Commanders, but they really make everything hard on quarterbacks and running backs and offensive lines. Like it's insane how good they are on the defensive side of the ball. So I don't think Kyler Murray is going to make it in this one. I think you're coming off the big win. That's probably the peak of the Cardinals season. Now you got to go on the road to Seattle. You probably get your doors blown off a little bit here if the Seahawks can continue to do what they've done so far this season.
Yeah, also the short week. This didn't make it on my card just because I am waiting to see if Kyler Murray gets the start or not. I'm with you. I actually think they play better without Kyler than they do with him. So if he's out there, I would really be all over this pick. To what you were saying about people not looking at the Seahawks in that NFC Championship conversation, it might have just been 2 weeks ago. We were talking about the best picks to win the conferences, and we highlighted the Bucs, and I want to say plus 1,000. And they're actually now plus 1,100. But we also talked about the Seahawks at plus 1,800. They're now plus 650. So they are quickly shortening. Are they going to win the Super Bowl? Probably not, just because you don't think that's going to happen with Sam Darnold. But the way he's playing, he's genuinely in the MVP conversation. Like you said, their defense is outstanding. They did blow out the Commanders, but it's not a recency bias thing. They had the number one run defense entering that game. Mike McDonald, in my opinion, is one of the best defensive minds in the sport. So I do think this is a very good pick. Again, I would wait to see if Kyler's playing or not, because I think Kyler's terrible, and I would like the Seahawks more if he was playing, which sounds weird. But yeah, this is a solid pick.
Yeah, Seahawks plus 650 right now. Buccaneers 11-1. Those are the two teams. I think, San Francisco, maybe that's kind of the last team that can have a chance of winning a title in the NFC, but Eagles, Rams, Lions, Packers, Seahawks, Bucks, 49ers. Grant, who would be your pick right now to win the NFC?
Well, we talked about this. There's kind of a log jam here, because when you look at these teams, just to reiterate, Eagles, Rams, Lions, Packers, Seahawks, Bucks, 49ers, that's 7 teams. And you look at 1 to 7 almost as having as good of a chance as the next team. So, right now, if I were to pick a team, I would pick the Rams. Do I think that they have distinguished themselves? Do I think they're head and shoulders above anybody? No. So 2 weeks ago, I actually put down a future on the Seahawks at plus 1,800. Now that the Bucks are up from plus 1,000 to plus 1,100, probably put a future down on them as well. Because genuinely, I believe those two teams have just as good a chance to win the NFC as the Eagles and the Rams, who are the top 2 favorites.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think the Packers are terrible. Like, I will stand on that. Jordan Love just floats the ball. He doesn't do a lot with it. Good teams don't lose twice as double-digit favorites in a season. It doesn't happen, especially at home last week to the Panthers. That was embarrassing. So I'm not too high on the Packers. I think if you take away their big week 1 win against the Lions, they're not even considered in that top 3 or 4 team group. So let's take that one away. I still think the Lions are very dangerous, especially if you get them at home. I'm looking at like a Lions-Rams NFC Championship game, I think.
I know the Eagles are favored, but I actually feel like that's the most likely outcome.
Yeah, Rams and Lions in the NFC Championship. I think that once you get to that spot, anyone can win it. But I think if the Lions can play indoors, which pretty much that's the option unless they play Green Bay or Philadelphia, I think they're kind of the favorite in my mind.
It could be.
So yeah, you're on your 5th, right?
Yeah, and let's just keep it with the Lions. Why don't we? I'll take the Lions minus 8.5 against the Commanders. Now, look, I gotta say this. As a Commanders fan, this is why I personally don't bet on my teams very often. For whatever reason, when I try to remove my bias, I become overly critical of them. And then I'll try to adjust and I get it wrong, and I'm too friendly and I get it wrong. I haven't been able to predict anything with the Commanders all year long. So I'm just going to get that out there. They've lost by at least 21 points in 3 straight weeks. The entire roster is injured. I think 13 starters at some point this season have been injured. It's mind-blowing stuff what they have. When Mariota was there the last time he played, they lost by 21. I get it. It was against the Chiefs. The Lions might be a better football team than the Chiefs. The Lions are also coming off of a loss, so they're going to have that motivation. Also, the Commanders knocked the Lions out of the playoffs last year. And if I know one thing about Dan Campbell, that's going to get brought up. That's going to be, look what they took from us. Remember how you feel in that moment. Let's go in there and let's kill these guys, figuratively. Also, Frankie Louvu suspended. So not only are the Commanders have all these injuries, Frankie Louvu's now suspended for too many hip drop tackles. It's just going to be a bunch of practice squad guys against maybe the best offense in the NFL. Oh, and they have a very good defense playing a backup quarterback with backup receivers. It's just, this could be a 42-14 type of game.
With that being said, though, it is outdoors. That's the one advantage that the Commanders have.
Well, what's the weather looking like? How about we check that out?
Yeah, that might be the reason that it's only 8.5.
Yeah, because Small Hands Golf doesn't like the outdoors.
No, he doesn't. He's very bad in cold games.
Let's see. So it's going to be sunny and 63.
All right. So yeah, the Lions are going to beat him by 100 points.
Yeah.
So I would take, Lions 8.5 just feels like if a lot has to go right for the Commanders to not lose by more than 8. Like, I would love to hear somebody, this is also my 5th pick. So I would love to hear somebody who was taking the Commanders and defend that pick. Like, I would just love to know why they're taking it. Can't come up with a reason.
All I could say is they've lost by 21 in 3 straight weeks. It's not very often that you lose that bad 4 straight weeks. And the defensive coordinator is moving from the booth to the sideline. That's happening this week. Maybe that changes something. Those are the only 2 things I could point to.
So if the Lions score 28, can the Commanders score 20?
I don't think they can.
I don't think so. And the Lions realistically should, like the Seahawks, if they wanted to the other night, they could have scored 60.
Dude, Sam Darnold at halftime was 17 of 17 for 284 with 4 touchdowns.
Even that first drive coming out of the second half, like on 3rd and 1, they decided to throw like a fade.
Yeah.
Like they were just messing around at that point.
They called the worst play they could have. They just to let them off the hook.
Yeah, they just didn't really feel like doing anything there. So yeah, I don't see a world where the Commanders can keep this one close. If they do, I think it's going to take like 3 interceptions from Jared Goff and an insane performance from Mariota.
I mean, it happened in the playoffs last year, but that feels like a one-time thing. That feels like lightning in the bottle.
Oh, I forgot about the play. I know you're bringing that up, but like it just hit me. I forgot. Like they're gonna murder them. This is gonna be.
Well, and don't forget Louvu. They probably wanted Louvu to play because remember Louvu had that hit on Goff, which knocked him out for a series.
Yeah, that one hurt last year. I was very sad about that one because I had tickets on the Lions to win Super Bowl. This is going to get out of hand. But why is it 8.5? Like, I think it should be like 15.5.
Yeah, I do too. This could be like the 70-20 game with the Broncos and the Dolphins.
It kind of has to be. Like, I just don't see a world. I don't see a world where Washington can keep it close.
I mean, we're okay. Backup quarterback, 7th round rookie running back. Wide receiver 1 is out. Wide receiver 2 is out. Wide receiver 3, Debo's playing through an injury. Wide receiver 4 is out. Zach Ertz is 1,000 years old.
Yeah, the offensive line's terrible.
Offensive line, top 3 edge rushers on IR. Your number 3 defensive tackle has a concussion. Frankie Louvu, your best linebacker, who has been playing edge rusher because of the injuries, he's suspended. Number 1 corner Trey Amos is out. Number 2 corner Marshawn Lattimore is out. Number 1 safety Will Harris is out. Number 2 safety Quan Martin might be out. He's questionable. How do they do anything in this game?
I don't know. Here, I got a good one for you. Take the Bucs and the Lions on the money line together, plus 105. Kind of like that.
I mean, the Bucs. I like the Bucs too. I don't think it's a guarantee. What's a guarantee on here?
Well, how about Bucs plus 4.5? Little alternate spread. Lions money line, and then I don't know what another guarantee is. I mean, I don't even want to call the Broncos a guarantee, even though they are.
I don't either, but you could do Broncos, Bills, Lions for minus 139, which isn't terrible.
Bills, who the Bills got on here? The Dolphins division game on the road. I mean, yeah, if it's going to take a lot for the Bills to lose that game.
I'm not gonna advocate for parlaying 3 minus 500 lines, but the Lions are gonna win this game. I know that much.
Yeah, the Lions are gonna win this game. I love Bucks plus 4.5 Lions money line. I love that.
I think that's a good one too. Yeah,
minus 160. I'll play it. Why not?
And you could do a teaser. You could get the Lions at minus 2.5. The Bucks at, I mean, you'd have to tease across the 0, but you get the Bucks at plus 3.5, and you just add someone else to that.
Well, even if you take Bucks plus 4.5 and Lions minus 2.5, and that's minus 145. I'd rather take the money line for minus 160. But yeah, I mean, there's the Lions. There's no world where they can lose this game. Like you're going to see like $1 million bajillion bet on the Lions this week.
I wonder how high the alternate spread line goes for the Lions. You can get the Lions at minus 34.5 for 17-1.
I mean, I would consider like 20.5 for plus 340. Still hard though. Like even 20.5 last week. Like the Commanders scored at the end because the Seahawks took their foot off the gas. So like the Lions may take their foot. This is a game where Dan Campbell could be like, not at 8.5, but like that 20-point range, like their fourth quarter. We don't see Jared Goff.
I would assume that's what's going to happen. Honestly, I think they're going to dominate them.
So first half, what's the first half spread? Minus 5.5. Love that.
Yeah, love that. I'm betting that for sure.
Love that. Love it all. First half alternate spread minus. You could go first half alternate spread minus 14.5 plus 420.
I mean, they were down 28-0 in 18 minutes on Sunday.
Yeah, love that. Minus 13.5 first half alternate. I'm feeling good about that. Yeah, it's going to be, I see it. It's got to be, if it's 21-10 at the half, I would be surprised. Like, I don't think the Commanders are putting up 10. And I think the Lions will put up 21 the first half.
Yeah, I agree.
So anyways, Grant, another episode of Ride the Line, the books.
It is, guys. If you did enjoy this episode, make sure that you do hit the subscribe button if you have not already. To the returning viewers, we appreciate you guys being here. If you enjoyed, the number one way you can support us is to hit the like button. So go ahead and do that. And go to the comment section. Let us know what your favorite bets are, what you think we got right, what you think we got wrong, all that great stuff. Go to the comment section. We'll be responding to everybody.
Yep, that was Ride the Line, the greatest podcast in sports betting entertainment. We will see you back here on Friday for another episode.